She would always measure out peanut butter for sandwiches. I totally understand measuring it out once to see what a serving looks like, but this was excessive and I was tired of the measuring spoons always being dirty. The measuring spoons were mine, so I started keeping them in my room and bringing them out when I wanted to use them. Nearly 10 years later, this still makes me cringe regularly. I knew very little about EDs at the time, but it was so unbelievably petty. Having an eating disorder doesn't magically make it okay to use someone else's stuff and not clean it afterwards. I mean, cleaning other people's dishes is annoying, yeah. Fair enough, why wasn't she washing her dishes? I grew up with a mom with an ED and I'm not even mad at you. She'd have washed your spoons though. They were your spoons. Don't feel bad. Honestly, ED or not, she can get her own measuring spoon and I would think she would if it was that important. As someone who had an ED, I had 2 sets of measuring spoons and 2 of measuring cups. I would never think to use somebody else's. I had an ED and I don't see how that would make me inconsiderate to other people's spaces. You're okay. Today I learned that people don't understand what an eating disorder is, or its acronym. Peanut butter on anything but a knife or the food it's being applied to fucks me up. Bowls, cups, spoons, etc. just rile me up. Don't have an eating disorder, but I track calories so I weigh all my food. I'd be mad too though if my personal stuff was always dirty from someone else. Tell her to go to the dollar store and get her own spoons. I was so confused thinking this was erectile dysfunction. I measure my portions most of the time, but I don't have an eating disorder. I do clean up after myself, though. I was confused why you'd hide a tablespoon from someone with erectile dysfunction. I definitely understand where Op is coming from, especially if she didn't wash them after using them when they were yours, but from someone who has an ED and has been dealing with it for 9 years, when someone is deep in their ED nothing else matters but the food/calories/sugar/carbs. They are thinking about the numbers, the ways to burn off the calories, ways to get out of eating later on in the day. When someone else is deep in their eating disorder, their brain doesn't care about anything else. I don't condone what she did, but as someone who knows what it's like, I can understand why she didn't wash them. Making food when you have an ED can be very distracting, very daunting, very intimidating. She probably knew that 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. It's wild how so many people are so unfamiliar with mental illnesses they can't figure out an acronym with context. TBH, you may have helped her. A scale measuring the weight would be easier. It sounds like her issues stressed you out so much. You ran out of spoons. Having an eating disorder doesn't forgive lacking manners.